Hey everyone. So, yeah, for this video, I wanted to talk about negative self-talk and how to eliminate this thing that happens to us when we're trying to get stuff done, trying to live our lives, trying to progress, and trying to be productive. We can get these thoughts in our mind, really, which is really our brain reminding us of the past and perhaps what's gone wrong in the past, trying to keep us in our comfort zone and stuff like that. And what I want us to consider for this video, for this session, is whether these thoughts are actually serving us or not. Now, obviously, it's kind of like a loaded question, that, because negative self-talk, that's kind of it's implying that it is negative. It's something we want to get rid of. We want to replace it with something positive, which is true. So yeah, we want positive self-talk to replace negative self-talk, and the key theme here is that we're working towards something, working towards goals, and goals that we've written down and planned to achieve, and then we get in these thoughts and feelings as well, in because the thought as a every thought has a feeling attached to it as well. It makes you feel a certain way, which can then dictate our behavior. So yeah, very powerful stuff. If we don't tackle this and realize that we are perhaps at risk or in danger of succumbing to some subroutines which have been formed over times that are habitual, and don't necessarily serve us, or don't necessarily serve us anymore. Maybe they served us in the past when we were that old version of ourselves, but as we working towards becoming a brand new version of ourselves, these thoughts and feelings are not really serving us anymore. So, first point I want to make is that most people don't even realize the damage that they're doing to themselves every single day with this negative self-talk, and it's a pattern of thoughts and feelings, but also, as we all know, thoughts and feelings become behaviors because we do what we feel like doing, really. And the thing is, it's okay saying have enough discipline to give yourself a command and follow through with what you need to do. But if you're constantly up against your feelings, and you're never building habits in order to, get things done without as much resistance, then because you can actually, if you do something again and again, that's good for you. That is actually working, where you're working towards a goal. You can find joy in it. Yeah, even though it might be hard work, even though it might be tough, even though it might be out of your comfort zone, but got to realize that whatever's out of your comfort zone will eventually feel less uncomfortable, so it'll feel more comfortable, and that's the key to all this, really. So most people don't even realize the damage they're doing to themselves every single day. It's quite subtle, it's quiet, it happens in your own mind, and nobody can tell you that it's happening as well. It might come out in your behaviors, and somebody might ask you, are you feeling okay? But it happens in your own mind when no one else is around. It's often when you're on your own as well. You might be driving in your car. You might be thinking about things. You might be getting down on things. You might wake up with that feeling. You might have a lot on your mind. And the antidote, the cure, the exact opposite to that is to rewire. Is to rewire, really, which we'll come to. Start to rewire those old habits, form new habits, new behaviors, new behavioral patterns, with techniques like affirmations. So positive affirmations, positive rewiring of old self-limiting beliefs, old negative self-talk that's trying to keep us, the old paradigm trying to draw us back into the comfort zone to keep us safe. But we've got to remember that, giving you the analogy of hunter-gatherers being in the cave, that's the comfort zone. If you don't come out of the cave and hunt, then you will starve. If you don't go out and forage, find some food, you will starve. If you don't go and get some firewood to make some fire, you won't be able to cook the food, and you will starve. You'll also be cold as well, and potentially freeze to death. So we've got to come out of the cave. We've got to come out of the comfort zone. Now, what tends to happen is we replay these old stories, these memories from the past, and that's how the doubts. That's how the doubts start to creep into our mind, and they can freeze us in fear. So fear is false expectations appearing real. That's where we can get frozen in fight or flight, and you just can't do anything, and you feel sick, nauseous at the in your stomach, and you've just generally in low vibrational frequencies, basically. So fear, guilt that you didn't get that work done because you were too frozen, too afraid to do it, or you had those doubts creeping in. What's the point in doing it? You're not good enough. Things like your imposter syndrome starting to creep in and stuff like that. So we need to arrest these doubts, this negative self-talk, and do positive affirmations so that we can build momentum and build discipline and good habits over time. So it's consistency over time. And then we start to prove to ourselves that we can do it. And then we've got the evidence building up. We've got irrefutable evidence building up that we can do the task that we've set out to do. So when you're replaying these old stories in your mind, these memories from the past, these reminders, maybe some past failings and stuff like that. Oh, don't try that again because you might fail again and all that kind of thing. But we've got to realize that you show me somebody who says that they've never failed, and that same person will never have tried anything. They won't have tried anything, because the only way of not failing in life is to not try anything. You can learn from other people's mistakes. You can hire a mentor. You can hire a coach, and they can guide you. But a lot of the time, we're going to be failing our way to achieving goals, and you've got to get stuck in with things. So yeah, this fear that gets planted in us, and we can get a lot of doubts picked up from others as well. It can be family members. It can be passed down through generations. These limiting beliefs and these belief systems, these thought structures, which can plant fear within us. And the fear, you feel it in the anxious feeling. You feel it, and it can stop you in your tracks, stop you from taking any action. So we've got to if we want to progress and work towards becoming better versions of ourselves, we've got to arrest these thoughts and not let them run the show. We're not letting the old paradigm rear its head and control the narrative of our lives. We've got to rewrite that, really. So have you ever wondered why you're feeling stuck and you're repeating like the same 6 months again and again and not really making progress? And could it just be some coping mechanism to say, oh, I'm happy with what I've got and everything? I'm not in any way saying that we shouldn't be grateful. I'm a big believer in gratitude, and I do gratitude every day. But I believe that the spirit is for expansion and fuller expression, as Bob Proctor says, and we're here for growth. The human experience is here to experience. That's why they call it a human experience. We're here to grow and experience things, and in experiencing things, that's how we gain knowledge about the world around us. And we've got to take some risks, we've got to mitigate, the downside, but we've got to go out there. It's like the toddler going from crawling to to walking to running, that they've taken kind of a leap of faith there, metaphorically, in doing so, and that's innate, So if you're wondering why you're feeling stuck in life, I would start to examine the thoughts and the associated feelings that you're having with that, and wondering why things never quite work out, and you're having these kind of, oh, things never work out for me, I'm unlucky, and then you're hesitating before you're kind of making any kind of decision because of fear, even though logically and using higher faculties such as your intuition, you pretty much know that is the right decision. So starting to trust your own judgment rather than relying on others, opinions and things like that. And especially if you're asking others' opinions and they're not actually where you want to be, then that is a big mistake. If you're asking, somebody about finances who has got no money and hasn't particularly made very good decisions with the money, and they've got an opinion, but they've not got a lived experience of actually doing well with that. Or you're asking a non-business owner who's got a job if you should leave your job and start a business, then obviously they're going to be biased because they're going to, advise you to stay with your job and things like that, because running the business is risky, they'll say, and stuff like that. So that will be their belief system that they're instilling and imparting and passing on to you, in effect. And they do say that you're the sum of the 5 people who you hang around the most. So if you hang around 5 people who drink a lot, binge drink a lot, the chances are that you'll be the 6th binge drinker. If you hang around with 5 drug users, the chances are you're going to get on drugs yourself. If you hang around 5 cigarette smokers, you're going to probably start smoking yourself. So if you hang around 5 people who read a lot of books a lot of the time and talk about personal development and doing better with your finances and starting a business and things like that, the chances are you're going to do similar things, because you're going to feel, obviously if they're above you in terms of the earnings that they're making as well, you're going to want to get to that level as well. But if you're around people who are kind of less money than you or all that kind of thing, you're going to kind of sink down to their level, kind of thing. So that's the way that it usually works. You're the sum of the 5 people who you spend most time with. So be careful who you spend time with, basically, if you're looking at leveling up in life. So if you're wondering why you can't seem to move forward as well, so no matter how badly your will is, then there are some thoughts that are holding you back, which you're in opposition with. Basically, you're trying to force your way through life when really you've got inner power, and the way to embrace your inner power is by changing the mind. It's changing the way that you think. So if you've got these limiting beliefs which are holding you back, you can force and use motivation to get through there to a certain extent, but that'll be quite exhausting. I always say that to build a business, you need to change the man, you need to change the person or the woman. You need to change yourself first and work as your future version of yourself would work. So who do you need to become to run that bigger business, that scaled up version, that leveled up business? You need to start working as that person already, acting like that person, thinking like that person, and then eventually you'll become that person. But this is something that people don't teach us, really. The thing is, every single word you say to yourself matters. Thoughts are very powerful. I were told, and this is one of the mantras at school, that sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. But words are very powerful. The pen is mightier than the sword. Words are so powerful. Writing down words, so powerful. Every time you repeat a word, whether it's positive or negative, then that seed grows. And that's why gratitude is so important. So this morning, I woke up not feeling great, to be honest with you. I had enough sleep, but I didn't feel very positive. So I went through my routines, 3 routines, which are gratitude. So 10 things that I'm grateful for, and then asking God for guidance for the day. I don't know if you believe in God. If you don't, then ask the universe, ask whatever you believe in, or just meditate on and look to tap into your higher faculties like your intuition, and just seek guidance. Just be still basically and think about. Just take some step back from all the inputs that are coming in, is what I'm saying. So, and the third thing that I did, so the second thing, asking God for guidance for the day. Third thing that I did this morning was sending love to 3 people who are bothering me. And that's more for me than them, the forgiveness aspect of it. It's just to keep me in a high vibrational state, so I'm not getting into low vibrational states or anything like that. But just got to remember that when we're practicing gratitude, for example, the gratitude part of what I did this morning, I'm not thinking about the negative. I'm thinking about the positives in my life. And I want more positives, but the way to get more positives is to focus on the positives that we've already got. In the way, what I believe is, if God gives me something, and I believe that everything comes from God, then if it gives me something and I'm not grateful for it, I don't say thank you, I'm not showing gratitude for it, then I won't get it again, and it can be taken away as well. So and also when I'm focusing on what's good, then I'm not focusing on the negatives as well. So there's no room. I'm eliminating the negative self speak, because I'm just not leaving room for it. It's like if you stop drinking alcohol, you fill your time with other activities. You don't sit there doing nothing. You might have sat there with an alcoholic drink in your hand, drinking and doing nothing because you were consumed by the alcohol, the thought of the alcohol, and maybe that were giving you a lot of the things, the dopamine and everything. But when you stop doing something like that, something that I've considered to be a bad habit, then you need to fill your day with other things, other activities, some activities that replenish you, some that challenge you. Those might not be mutually exclusive as well. What replenishes you might challenge you, and vice versa. What challenges you might replenish you, and all that kind of thing. So we've got to keep busy, but not burn out in these things, and take action. As human beings, I think we're here to move about, to think, to create, to build, to experience, different things in life, and that's how we gain knowledge. But everything we repeat, it grows. So repeating positive self-talk grows. So affirmations, for example, being grateful, being in a high vibrational state. So you're thinking about things like gratitude, love, joy, keeping away from the low vibrational stuff. So, for example, energies around fear, which is false expectations appearing real, around envy, guilt, and things like that. So, you might not see an impact straight away. There's a cumulative effect to what I'm talking about. So, like if you're doing gratitude, meditation, whatever you're doing, over time it starts to work. Really, it shapes your confidence. It's like today I'm going to be doing some cold calling for my business. I'm going to be calling some business to business prospects, and each time I do it, I learn a little bit more. It gives me some more confidence, and I get better and better at it. So there's a cumulative effect. When I first did a call, I was terrible. I was absolutely terrible. I'd never done it before. I didn't know what to expect. I was full of fear. I was really anxious, and I was out of a comfort zone. But then as you do it more and more, it becomes like your new normal, really. And when good habits become your new normal and become habitual, and the good things, because you can have good and bad habits, and you can habit stack as well, you start to add other things as well. So you start to stack other things on top. It's like, for example, I don't drink alcohol anymore, but when I used to drink alcohol, I used to have some salted peanuts, and crisps and things like that. And every so often, I don't drink anymore, but I'll still have salted peanuts. I'll still have some crisps, but not as often. So the bad habits can stack just as well as the good habits can stack. So the good habits, like if you work out, if you go to the gym, or if you do kettlebells at home or some press ups, then you'll naturally want to eat healthier. Or if you eat healthier, you'll naturally think, oh, I feel better now. I might go for a walk now, rather than sitting in front of the TV and binge watching Netflix. Actually feel like doing some physical activity because I'm eating healthier. So the habits start to stack, and it's the same with anything, in business, in life, in whichever leisure activities you do, when you're interacting with your family. Good habits start to accumulate, start to get better and better. But so do bad habits as well. So that's why every time you repeat a thought, that seed grows, that emotion amplifies, it gets stronger, and then the actions. It's almost like you're forced from the thoughts to do your actions that naturally come out. Whatever you think about will naturally come out in your actions. And if you try to think a certain way and be like an hypocrite or kind of two-faced about things, and you'll just be in opposition, you'll be in force, and force is low vibration, and power, your inner power, is high vibration. Power is quite easy once you get into the movement, the momentum of things, and build the discipline up over time, and build the habits. Like I said, you might not see that impact straight away, but over time it shapes your confidence, your decisions, and ultimately your life. So let's think for a moment now. How often do you actually catch yourself saying any of these four things? So I'm not good enough. That's imposter syndrome. I'll probably mess it up again. This kind of thing never works out for me. I'm unlucky. There's no point in trying. Yeah. So this is the thing. These are all limiting beliefs. These are all holding us back. This is the old paradigm. So if you want to become a better version of yourself and it's your goals that you're setting out for yourself, we need to eliminate these. So what are the exact opposites of these? I'm not good enough. The exact opposite of that, self-limiting belief, in an affirmation, is I'm good enough. I'll probably mess it up. I will do great. I will do fantastic. So you don't want to use mess it up in the affirmation. You want to put a positive on it. So you want to make a negative self-speak a positive. So rather than I'll probably mess it up, start to look back at you do something once, you do a good job of it. I always do a fantastic job. If I do make a mistake, then I correct the mistake. So putting some honesty in it and all that kind of thing as well. So you've been honest with yourself, because you've got to be honest with yourself with your affirmations as well. If not, then you won't believe it. Your brain won't believe it. So you've got to attach the emotion to the affirmations as well and believe it as well. Now, it helps once you've done it, once you've done a good job a few times. Let's say, I'll give you a real example today. I work in work blocks, so I work in 90-minute work blocks. So I will set my timer, this timer, for 90 minutes, like this. I'll show you. So I'll set it for 90 minutes and 5 seconds. Yeah, it don't matter about 5 seconds, but 90 minutes, and I will do cold calling for 90 minutes, yeah? And that'll be a nice work block. Now, if I don't do it today, then I will lose confidence in myself, and this limiting belief, I'll probably mess it up by not doing it, or probably won't do it, will cause me to lose confidence. So I have to continuously show up every day and do the work to build and reinforce and become a better version of myself, and consistently have the discipline to not let myself down and self-manage myself. So I do the cold calling, or I do the service delivery, or do whatever it is I need to do in the business. And I show up every day. And if I have an odd off day, I'm a human being. If I don't feel well, then I'll take some time to recuperate. And there's always another day, and we're not in a rush. But the point is, it's better to, rather than burning ourselves out and doing lots and lots in one day and try and borrowing from another day, because if you do that consistently, you're going to have to pay the piper at some point. You're going to burn out, basically. So consistency over time is the key. So what's the next limiting belief, and how do we counteract that? How do we reprogram our mind? This kind of thing never works out for me, right? So we need evidence in these affirmations as well. This kind of thing never works out for me. So we need to think of a time when we've done something similar to this, whatever we're talking about, and it's worked out. So has there ever been a time that I've done a cold call and I've got some business from it? Of course there has been. So why, when I'm doing cold calling, will I get this negative self-speak saying, oh, you're not good enough, oh, they probably won't want to speak to you, oh, it probably won't work, or you'll probably do loads of calls and you'll have days where you do some calls and they don't work, or whatever it is that you're trying, whatever it is that you need to do to hit your goals. There will be times when you do fail, but with law of averages, if you keep doing the work, then as probability has it, you if you put the inputs in, energy can't be created or destroyed, so it's got to go somewhere, even if it's just in learning. So the affirmation for this would be, I would really think about a time when I've achieved something, and then draw on that. So it could be, I can achieve anything that I put my mind to it. I can achieve anything that I put my mind to, and just think of something where you've achieved something that you've put your mind to. Maybe you didn't feel like walking to the shop. Maybe you felt like getting in the car and being lazy, and it were only, I don't know, half a mile down the road, and you had enough time to do it, and you just got in the car anyway. You could walk to the shop half a mile and easily, rather than expending fuel and starting up the car and wear and tear on the car and all that kind of thing. And you could get some exercise as well. So has there been a time that you've put your mind to something? And of course there's always been a time. But the mind tends to often be drawn to the times when we failed. They tend to be the times that we, those are the experiences that stick out, because the painful experiences when we fail. So we've got to think about things where we have achieved something. So the affirmation to that, I can do anything that I put my mind to. So next one, there's no point in trying. Has there been a time when you've tried when you've failed? Of course there has. But has there been a time that you've tried and you've had success? So you could have an affirmation which is genuine, which you can attach emotion to counteract this and rewire your brain, your mind with this one, and start to create a new paradigm, a new perspective. So there's no point in trying. There's always a point in trying, because if I try and then I fail, but then I get up again, if I fall down and I get back up again, as long as I get back up again and get back on the bike and carry on, I will succeed. So I will fail and try. And if I don't try, I won't experience anything. If I don't try and I let the fear freeze me, in the fight or flight, then I'll never get anything done. So, and I'll be one of those kind of people who says, oh, I could have done that. I could do anything, but I never actually tried, never actually did much anyway. And you want to get, towards the end of your life and look back and never have tried anything. And that's the real consequence. Do you want the pain of persevering and pushing through, the obstacles and barriers that you'll no doubt get in life, or do you want to have the pain of regret? You can have the pain of perseverance and trying and failing and then succeeding when you've got back up and dusted yourself off. Like Rocky Balboa, you've got back up, you've been punched, you've got back up, and you've got back in the fight, and you've shown art, you've shown willpower, and you've shown perseverance, and you've shown resilience. Would you rather have the pain of that? Because you're going to have pain either way in life. Things are going to go wrong. I'm sorry to say that, but things are going to go wrong, and we've got to have resilience to cope with these things and to get through these things. But you can have the pain of persevering and pushing forward, or you can have the pain of regret that you never even tried in the first place. So this is what this is all about. And the thing is, these self-limiting beliefs, and we can list more of these. I'm sure I've got some more. I'm sure you've got some more. These aren't harmless thoughts. These are patterns. These are thought patterns which the more you think about them, the more they get reinforced. They're very damaging. And it's just, if you say them enough times, your mind actually starts believing that they're true. Now, with the affirmations, the beauty of this, the way of counteracting these, your brain doesn't know any different. If you tell yourself something, your brain will believe it, because your brain doesn't know reality, basically. Your brain, your mind, your paradigm doesn't know any different, right? So you can act and behave as the future version of yourself, who's already got all the money, who's already rich, who's already wealthy, who's already got this, that, and the other, whatever your goals are, and your brain won't know any different. And then you'll start to manifest, and with law of attraction, bring all these things in. And how does that work? So you'll be on the same high frequency as others who can pay you. For example, let's say you've got a digital marketing agency like me. You need to be on the same vibrational level as others who there'll be an exchange. Yeah. So let's say you can add value to a business owner. They will pay you money in compensation for that knowledge, or for the value add, or the implementation, the strategy, whatever it is. But you need to be on the same level, the same frequency. Yeah. So these thoughts will get you on a low vibrational frequency, which is very damaging. So it's probably more damaging than you think. But I'm hoping from this lesson, from this video, that if you didn't know, if you weren't aware of this before, then you're starting to you're starting to have a paradigm shift. So a paradigm shift is where you start to think differently, from a different perspective, because not all is where it seems, and not all what we taught or what rubs off on us is necessarily for our benefit in this world. But there's another thing: you weren't born thinking like this. So the way that I'm teaching you now, you weren't born thinking like this necessarily, unless you're from an environment where you were, this kind of thing was around you. But many of us, we didn't. We weren't taught this stuff, and we certainly didn't come into the world, in terms of nature, nurture, in terms of the nature of it. We weren't born innately with, kind of doubting ourselves and expecting the worst and woe is me and low vibrational energy. We were full of beans when we were kids. We had dreams when we were kids. And I want us to dream again, and daydream, like we're children, like we're younger, before the world takes hold and we have all these inputs and stuff like this. So these beliefs were picked up. We weren't born with with these self-limited beliefs. They were picked up through experience from people around us. Through what others said, and most of all through repetition, and this becomes our paradigm. This becomes our worldview. This becomes what we believe. And when we've got these firm-held beliefs about things, we can't be wrong. It's like, yeah, this is the truth. This is the way that I see the world, and it can be quite strange to think in a different kind of way. It's not that you're not. It's not that you're incapable. It's not that you're not capable. It's that your self-talk is actually a barrier. It's in the way. It's an obstacle to seeing things differently and having a different life. And that's why most of us, I'd say 95%, are running there's a program running in the mind which is making us a certain way. And we're just in autopilot. Now we need to create a new program if we want to break out of this and start to hit some of the goals that we want to hit in our lives. And look, it can be a terrible thing if you're living the same kind of life again, in the same 6 months in your life that you're not happy with. If you're happy with it, fair enough. But if you're not and you want to change, then keep on watching this video. So your thoughts aren't just noise; they aren't just something to discard. They're very powerful, and you can actually change your inner dialogue. Basically, your inner dialogue is working in a loop, and it's playing 24/7. Very, very, very so powerful. And every time you speak to yourself, you're reinforcing these beliefs, whether they're positive or negative as well. So that's why we've got to do affirmations every day. That's why we've got to do, if we want to change, not everybody wants to change, but if you want to change, we've got to do these things every day, because we can return to baseline. A lot of the programming is done up to 9 years old, between being born and 9 years old. So we need to, so we don't return to default, return to the baseline, that default. We've got to keep reminding ourselves, really keep reinforcing this positive inner dialogue. So if you've got negativity, doubt, regret, this is all low vibrational. You can replace that with self-belief, encouragement, growth mindset, high vibrational thinking. Your brain is always listening, and it doesn't always know the difference between, something that you say is a joke, kind of a passing comment, or something serious. So you've got to be careful with what you feed your brain. You got to be careful to curate your reality. So I, for example, when I'm driving, I do not listen to any mainstream or any radio at all. It will either be audiobook, usually non-fiction, audible, or it'll be silence and just listening to the road and being mindful, that kind of thing. Listen to the engine, and just being aware of my surroundings, and situationally aware, and all that kind of thing. So it's almost like less is more, really, in this world. We're inundated with all this stimuli, all this stimulation, and it can be good to kind of digitally detox away from the social media, but also in the world, to simplify things as well. So the thing is, if you keep telling yourself something, like you're not smart enough, you've got the imposter syndrome, you're not confident enough, you're not disciplined enough, your mind will not know any different, and it'll start to agree, and that'll come out in your actions. So you'll start to live that way. So you'll kind of start to do a worse job, and your brain basically says, "All right, that's who we are. That's who we are. You and your brain, your subconscious. I'm talking about your brain, your paradigm, your way of your belief system. So it builds your world around those beliefs, those self-limiting beliefs, that negative, those negative thoughts, those negative self-speak, negative self-talk. You start to filter everything through this lens as well. So the brain is so powerful. It's weird, this, because if you've ever driven down a road and then you walk down the same road, you notice so much more. You might have a look and think, "Oh, right, yeah, I'd never noticed those blackberries before. Right, okay." When I was driving down it all went so fast because you were filtering so much out. So when you slow down, then that's when you can start to really notice things, and when you start to trim the fat and eliminate things, and start to focus on the things that matter, that's where you can really start to move mountains, metaphorically, basically. So I'm a big believer in trimming the fat, having less operational drag in my life, cutting out things that don't work, cutting out negative people, and all that kind of thing. And myself as well, I'm very mindful that people have a positive experience with me, that I'm a force for good, that I don't drain people, that I'm not an energy vampire or anything like that. So I'm very mindful about that. So as you start to filter everything through that lens, that perspective, that becomes your new paradigm, and the old paradigm dies. You could become a 2.0 version of yourself as you repeat these mantras, these positive affirmations, and And um, what we do if we allow the negative self speak to do, we filter through that lens. If we do the affirmations and form, more positive views, then we filter through that lens. So the thing is, the human brain can only take in so much, and it's a lens that we look through basically. And if we see things as let's put it like this: you've heard a glass half empty, glass half full. So, positive mental attitude. If it's glass half full, how you see the world. If you see things negatively, you'll start to avoid new challenges because you'll be in fear of failure, and all that kind of thing. So you assume people won't trust you, they won't believe you, they won't like you, all that kind of thing. You might second guess your decisions before you even begin something. So you've got to be careful with these thoughts. But this can all change. If you start to change your thoughts and your associated feelings with these, and it's baby steps. It's things to do every day. It's showing up consistently over time. I can't emphasize that enough. That it's all about consistent reprogramming of your mind, really. And it all starts with self-awareness, critical thinking as well, understanding what's going on, writing things down. I'll tend to journal, so how I'm feeling today, what's happened, what inputs have I put in to change things, how am I thinking differently, am I having a bad day, what else can I do to change these things? Because often something that you'll do a few days ago will start to, let's say you didn't, let's say I didn't do sales today. I might not necessarily run out of money today in the business, but in a few days or a few weeks or a few months, that's when those negative side effects will start to happen. It's the same with anything as well. You plant positive seeds, a bit like a farmer. You won't reap the reward straight away. You'll enjoy the harvest in a few months or whatever. So planting seeds, putting inputs in, very important. And it all starts with thoughts. Basically, it starts with awareness. Transformation is not a massive thing. There's not a silver bullet to this. There's a cumulative effect over time. So the next time that your inner voice tells you can't, or you're not enough, just pause and think, is this true, or is it just an habit I picked up? Is this a self-limiting belief? If you're thinking you can't, think, how can I? So reframe it. If you're thinking you're not enough, thinking, I am enough. Yeah, so it's just the opposite. The affirmation is just the opposite. People often get confused about, I know what my self-limiting beliefs are now. I've journaled, I've done that exercise, but how do I come up with the affirmations? And a lot of people think, well, I don't need to change. I'm perfectly okay the way I am. But just have some self-awareness and think, is that true? Is that a limiting belief in itself, that you don't need to change? Is that a pride thing? Is that something that you've been taught? Is that something that's rubbed off on you from somebody else? So just be aware of that as well. Just got to understand that as well when you're watching this video, that you are enough. When I talk about change, you are 100% enough, and you've got the power within you to do this. So I don't want you watching this video and then thinking, oh, I'm not enough, it feeling overwhelming. It's just baby steps over time. It's little changes, little things. What are the things that you can control? What are the things that you can change? You can, if something bad happens to you, then what can I change? Can I change my reaction to that? I'm in control of my reaction. So it's taking some control, and being self-aware enough to being self-aware so you can work through those problems with calm confidence as well. And look, there's people who've ripped me off in business, and I send love to them, and it's more to keep me in a high vibrational state, for example. So I'm just giving you like one of my lived experiences where, somebody's ripped me off. I could spend a lot of time hating on them and feeling bad and being in low vibrational states and getting really angry. And I've certainly done that in the past, but being in a high vibrational state and forgiveness, like God wants us to do, it's feeling love despite what's happening to you, really, and having that calm confidence, and it's good for your health. It's good for the spirit. It's good for the soul. So I just wanted to touch on that in this video, that you're enough. You've got everything that you need within you. You've got the power within you to do this. It's just improving your self-esteem, improving your self-confidence with these exercises, and it's basically positive self-speak to replace that negativity. We don't want negativity. It's toxic. It's toxic. So the thing is, not every thought that you think is true. So we may have picked up a thought from the past, maybe from our childhood, and then that's been playing on loop. Basically, it's been repeating. So the thought's been repeating. It's been controlling our lives, and it's important to realise that, to have the awareness, the self-awareness to understand what's actually going on in our mind, and we can change things. And we've got neuroplasticity. We can rewire, and we can change our lives by doing this, because actions come from thoughts and feelings, basically. It's that familiarity, that comfort zone, because not every thought you think is true, and it's just because it's familiar doesn't mean that it's actually helpful. So once you notice this script, you can actually start to rewrite it once you've got that self-awareness. And this is where your inner power lies. So this is where your power lies, where you can shape, you can rewrite your story, and you might be heading towards a particular direction. You might be heading in a particular direction. So yeah, once you start to notice the script, you can start to rewrite it. And if you think about it, it's a script that is installed, that is running on autopilot, and that's why many of us are actually running on autopilot. So, for example, at school, like the traditional system is to get you to go through your school, the college, university, get a good job, retire, and that's the script that a lot of us are running by. Now, I'm an entrepreneur, so I've had lots of jobs in my life as well, and I've noticed the difference between having a job and being an entrepreneur. There's a big difference. I always say that business is a big, just one big personal development exercise, really, where I've had to tackle this stuff. I've had to tackle this stuff. So this is from real lived experience. But once you notice the script, it's then you've got the choice to go through the pain of changing, the discomfort, coming out of the comfort zone, rewriting, going through all the exercises which you might think at first are pointless. Like when I first started meditating and doing gratitude, I thought, well, why am I doing this? Why do I need to do this? I weren't taught this when I were a kid. Why am I doing this now? But the thing is, reaching our in my opinion, it's the only way of. It's at least one of the valid ways. The only way that I've found anyway to get to a point where I'm working towards becoming a better version of myself, and I'm feeling confidence that I'm on the right path in this life, and I'm kind of figuring out I think the meaning of life is about having experiences and gaining knowledge from that. That's what I'm convinced of at this point in my life. Maybe you will think something different. Put a comment in below this video. If this is helping you, obviously share this with others. I want to get this message out. So your power is within. This is what I learned. Your power is within. We have so much power and knowledge within us, and that there is an interconnectivity with the universe as well. So we can tap into this knowledge, which may seem like a strange concept, but I've done this. It sounds strange, but there was one time in particular that stands out, kind of a few months ago, where my partner, Vicky, she said that a famous actor, famous film star, I think she said, had been at a local pointer interest near us, yeah. And I said, it's Pierce Brosnan. I'd not read that on social media, I promise you. It wasn't anywhere in my subconscious. I didn't know that. And I plucked that out, basically, of almost like thin air. But I've got a firm belief that that has come from the universe. It's happened too many times for me to doubt it, really. It's happened too many times. So there's another point where we really needed £1,000 for Christmas years and years ago, and we got £1,000 because I set my mind to it, and I didn't do it with much force either. It was just with power. It seemed to come easy. So when you set your mind to something, you can tap into this, and you've got the internal power. So. Give it a try. Give it a try over time as well. Even if you don't believe in it, give it a try. It's worth a try. What have you got to lose? You can always go back to the old way of thinking. So just give this stuff a try. If you're watching this video and you've got doubts creeping in and all that kind of thing, examine each one of those thoughts that's coming in as you're watching this video. And then you can make a change. You can make a positive change. What is the consequence of taking action versus not taking action? If you take action, you might change. If you don't take action, you can stay the same. Are you happy where you are? If you're saying you're happy where you are, is it a limiting belief? Is it a defense mechanism? Is it something to keep you safe in your comfort zone? Is it? What do you want? What do you want out of life? You can design your own life. So your power lies within, and it's not in pretending that everything's perfect. And when you're doing the affirmations, you've got to honestly believe them and actually internalize it and feel the emotion as well, or it's not going to work. This is key about affirmations. It's not, you're not just tricking yourself, even though the brain will believe what you tell it again and again, but you've got to honestly believe it for it to really be embedded. I can't emphasize that enough when you're doing the affirmations. So you've got to really believe that you can change. It's got to be what you want. You've got to have desire for it. You've got to you've got to really want it. It's got to be part of your why. You've got to have a real reason to do this, because it takes time and you're going to have to change, and it's painful. It's uncomfortable. You'll experience discomfort because you're coming out of your comfort zone. You're reprogramming. Reprogramming is not like a computer where you just type some bits in or whatever. It's a big change, but it's not a massive change all at once. It's a slow change over time. And if you're not mindful about it, if you're not practicing critical thinking and awareness, then you might forget to carry on doing it. So it's a daily process. It is for me. So now, choosing better thoughts, like I said, you've got to really believe the better thoughts as well, but you can do them one at a time as well. So I wouldn't overwhelm yourself. I don't overwhelm myself. I would just tackle one self-limiting belief at a time with an associated affirmation. And you don't have to go from self-doubt to full confidence overnight. In fact, you can't. depends on how many kind of limiting beliefs you've got. But I don't know anybody who's done this overnight. It's not a silver bullet. It's a journey, and you just have to start planting those better seeds, putting those inputs in, and just gaining confidence by building momentum. You gain confidence, and you just remember to do it. Write down that you're going to do it. Plan tomorrow, today, and do all this stuff. So just try this. Then try this. Start your day with one kind sentence to yourself. Yeah, just one kind sentence. I can handle what comes my way. That's an affirmation. I can handle what comes my way. Or I'm learning, and that's enough. Yeah. And just remember that you are enough. Yeah, you are enough. You can do this. I believe in you. Yeah. I believe that everybody who puts their mind to this can do this. Everybody who wants to change and have a better life, and it's not just making more money. It might be wisdom, be better, be more present with your family, so you're not kind of working as much. Better work-life balance, just a better life, the life that you want. But think about what you actually want from your life as well. So, because I wasn't happy, being a corporate drone, working 9 well 5, and then just having weekends off and having, 5 or 6 weeks annual leave and all that kind of thing. I wasn't happy doing that, and then not having strategic input into my job either. I wasn't happy with that. I'm a business owner now, and it's tough, but there's perks as well. And I'm growing as an individual, and I'm getting there, and I'm on a journey, and it's not all roses. It's not an easy life, but I believe that life is about challenge and growth. And if they say that whatever you go through, whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and I think that's true. So start your day with one kind sentence to yourself, just one kind sentence to start off with, little baby steps, showing up consistently every day. I can handle what comes my way, or maybe I'm learning and that's enough, or I'm trying and I'm proud of that. And be proud of your efforts, yeah, and celebrate some micro wins as well. And I don't know what situation you're in. Maybe you're having depressing thoughts at this time. Maybe you're struggling to get out of bed. If you go out of bed today, well done. That's a micro step. Brush your teeth, floss, make yourself a drink. I don't know what position you're in, or maybe you've got a job and you're going through all the motions and you want to get a promotion, or maybe you just started a side hustle and you want to grow your business as you kind of transition away from your full-time job, and you want to get out of the rat race. That's not for everybody. I'm not one of these people who think that being a business owner is for everybody. Certainly not. It's not for everybody. Some people, most people are better with a job. There's lots of stresses and strains that can be from having a business. You start your day with that one kind sentence, just one thing that you can do today, and then add another thing tomorrow, and then what I do at the moment, it's 10 things that I'm grateful for. Is step one. Next thing that I do is ask for guidance for the day from God. Like I said earlier, I don't know if you believe in God. If not, then ask for the universe. Ask for whatever you believe in. To help you, or your intuition, your intuition, which is one of your higher faculties. We've got higher faculties which are supplemental to the typical 5 senses that we talked about at school. And in traditional education, we've got higher faculties. One of them is intuition. So, but just meditate and be mindful about what you need to be doing. Just take a step back. So one of the techniques is taking a step back so you can see yourself as a third person, in the third person, so you can think, right, am I proud of what that person's doing? Is that person on the right track? So you can look at your own life as an outsider is one of the techniques as well. So that's the second thing. And the third thing is sending sending love to 3 people who are bothering you, yeah, and that keeps you in a high vibrational state. So when you're in a high vibrational state, when you're doing your gratitude, because you're thinking positively about the things that you got in your life, you've been grateful for them as well. So you get more good stuff, and you keep, you keep stuff that you've got as well, and everything. So not just so you just, when you're focusing on positivity, you're not thinking about negativity, basically. And then asking for guidance for the day, that's really about meditating on taking a step back from all the inputs, taking a break from the world, kind of thing. So you're kind of meditating on life, and am I doing the right thing? And that gives you what I mentioned earlier, the awareness, the self-awareness, very important. So you can start to work on yourself. Really important, that stuff, yeah. So if you start to get the negative thoughts creeping in, and the world will interrupt you when you're meditating, interrupt you. It's all normal, but you can say stop. You can say thank you, negative thought, but I'll cast you aside, and that kind of thing. So you can acknowledge them, and just, yeah, and then you can replace them with something true, yeah, something that's supportive, something that helps you to grow rather than shrink. Now, remember, when you're in your comfort zone, you're actually stagnating, because you're not challenging yourself. And like I said, I believe that we're on this earth having this human experience to have experiences, not do the same thing again and again. That's why I'm a business owner, so I can build a business, and then I can delegate to other people, help them to grow, and that my team can one day grow and maybe outgrow my company and things like that. So it's all a cycle, circle of life. So you're replacing your negative thoughts with your positive thoughts, and you're supporting your new mission to continuous improvement, becoming a better and better version of yourself. You can write down in a journal. I've got a planner, and then I do digital as well with like Outlook calendar for my planning. But I like to have paper journals, so I've got a paper journal, and I've got a planner for all my business stuff I need to get done and stuff like that, and some personal tasks. But write it down as well, so you can keep track of it and see where you are with your journey, and then put it somewhere you see every day. You need reminders to do these things as well. You can fall back into default baseline programming if we're not doing these things. So we build it up over time, a bit like going to the gym. If you stop going to the gym, you'll maintain for a while, but you will go into decline after a bit. But all is not lost. Get back on the bike or the horse or whatever, and then carry on, because you'll have muscle memory from this. You're building up these planning muscles. You're building up these affirmation muscles, and you're thinking in terms of abundance and high vibrational energies. So all is not lost if you do miss a day or so. Don't beat yourself up. We're only human. But do have reminders as well. And a lot of that is, if you read Atomic Habits, you can design your environment, to be more conducive with this kind of stuff, where you're living more intentionally, really, rather than letting yourself be blown from pillar to post. Like a feather in the wind. You can be blown into everything, because if you don't have a plan for your own life, they say if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. If you don't have a plan for your own life, then you probably end up following somebody else's plan. Really, so we've got to be self-aware and self-critical as well. So the thing is, we've got to remember, we've got to be kind to ourselves. We didn't build our current mindset in one day, and you won't change it in one day either. But every small step that we take, every baby step, every time we show up, every shift, every positive step that we take in our life, in our lives, adds up, and there's a cumulative effect to it. There's a compound effect to these things. So every time you choose a better thought, you strengthen a new path in your mind, and you're not leaving space for the negativity as well. So like I said, when I stopped drinking, I did different things. I changed my lifestyle and everything I've stopped doing in my life. When I stopped smoking, I changed my lifestyle. I did different things. So I was kind to myself and all that kind of thing. And then over time, you'll notice, I promise you will notice the difference if you do all these things. If you do it once, probably nothing will happen. You'll do it once and you'll think, oh, this doesn't work. But if you meditate once, then it's not going to do much, really. You'll meditate and you think, oh, nothing happened. You can't just do it once. It's like eating healthy. You can't be eating unhealthily every day, then have a healthy salad or something one day, or I don't know, if you're into carnivore, you have a healthy steak one day, and then next day you go back to eating crap. You can't. It doesn't work. You've got to do it consistently over time. So showing up for yourself, consistency over time. Do your gratitudes every day. Do this stuff for 100 days. Set yourself a challenge to do it for 100 days, and that's more than enough time to form an habit. An habit is formed in less time than that. So over time, you'll notice the difference. You'll respond with more clarity. You'll have a calm confidence. You'll be making better decisions. You'll be more confident with trying new things, so you won't have the limiting beliefs holding you back or not holding you back as much. It's a journey, not a silver bullet. You'll begin to trust yourself more, or trust yourself again if you've lost some self-esteem or self-confidence. And that trust, it changes. It can have a knock-on effect in your whole life. So you start to do different things. You'll work on one area of your life, then you'll work on another. So if it's your diet, you'll work on that, and then you'll maybe want to start going to the gym, or building yourself an home gym if you've got the space, or getting an exercise bar in front of the TV and putting some motivational stuff on, like Rocky IV soundtrack or something. You'll begin to trust yourself again, so you can do more and more. So it's a journey. There's a cumulative effect to it. And you'll want to do more because you'll be becoming a different person. Different people do different things. They work in a different way. And once you've hit one goal, no doubt you'll want to hit another goal, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's the human experience. Perfectly normal to want more and more. We want to experience more out of life, as long as it's positive. As long as it's positive, that's the main thing, not negative. So that trust, it changed everything. And this is what I want you to remember. Then, just in closing, so I want you to think about this. You've got more power than you realise. It's internal. And you don't need to use force your way through these negative emotions and thoughts. You can reprogram it so it becomes like your new normal. So that's the main thing. It becomes an habit. It becomes habitual. So it gets easier. So it's hard at first. It's like when you start a car and the momentum's got to be built up. It uses more fuel and all that kind of thing. But once you're tootling along in your vehicle, it's expending less energy because it's kind of coasting and things like that. So it's a bit like that, really. And then you want to keep building and building on top of it. But also, if you're anything like me, quite ambitious, then once you get to the top of the mountain. So if you've ever been hiking, then once you're at the top of the mountain, you think, oh, right, what's the next mountain? I'll have a little rest, but I'll do another mountain. So celebrate getting to the top of the mountain, but then what's your next challenge to help you to grow as an individual? But then also, it's often anti-climatic as well. When you get to the top of the mountain, you actually realise that the struggle and the journey and climbing the mountain and the conversations that you had with your friends or your hiking buddies or whatever metaphor you want to use was actually the thing. So they say that a lot of us, I think it's Michael Caine who famously said, a lot of people think they're practicing for something, but we're not on a stage. This is real life now, and obviously, it's real life right now. We're not. The goal is not retirement. Retirement's a bit of a scam, really. The goal's not retirement. The goal is being present in the moment and having the calm confidence that you are enough to get stuff done that you need to get done, and you can do it, and you've got the internal power. So I just want you to remember that you've got more control than what you think. Even when things are done to you, then you've got everything's a decision, and you can control the way that you react to that, and not make people feel bad. And you can not give people that power to control you, so you can control your reactions to people. And that's why I do every day the sending good feelings or love to people who are bothering me. Then I'm keeping in a high vibrational state because they want me. They're probably not even thinking about me, but if I kind of get into 18 on them and low vibrational states, because 8 is like low vibration or bad feelings or things like that. And also another thing, one of the other low vibrational energy states is the frequencies is envy as well, and coveting is in the Ten Commandments actually, and coveting actually leads to a lot of bad things. So like envy, green-eyed monster, wanting what other people have got as well. So I would also suggest, as a side note, less of the keeping up with the Joneses thing, more doing your own thing. It's kind of like the biggest barrier is the mindset. The biggest barrier in my business is my mindset. Business is 95% mindset. So try not to look on other people's social media too much. Try to limit yourself, especially if you're having any like depressing thoughts or any anxiety or anything like that. You can be looking at other people. I mean, certainly as a man in his 40s, I'll be looking at others and thinking, oh, what have they achieved in the life and all that kind of thing. And, you can start to have those kind of thoughts and everything. It's not good for you. It's low vibrational. So just focus on your own thing. Focus on your own journey through this life. That's very important. Very, very important. So yeah. And the thing is, the words that you speak to yourself are shaping your future every single day. Every single day. I can't emphasize that enough. So it's a daily showing up, consistently doing things every day, building it into your life, changing your life. It's not a, how do I say this? This is not a course to do over 3 months or 100 days. This is 100 days to then embed it as habit, to then keep doing it. And that in itself can feel overwhelming because you're thinking, well, I'm going to have to do something extra. But really what it is you're changing some habits and doing some things that are better for you rather than doing things that are worse from you than you. So if you like scrolling through social media 3 hours a day, something like that, that's not particularly good for you. You're just consuming things and watching other people's lives. That's not a good thing. That's objectively not a good thing to do when we should really be creating and really building our own life, really. And I'm not emphasizing like career and business and all that kind of thing. And I don't want you watching this thinking I'm all just business, but it is the business that I build enables the life, and it's all integrated. So the work-life balance is the whole thing. It's the whole thing. I don't like the phrase the work-life balance as well, but I use that because that's the recognizable kind of term. But life is something we live 24/7, and work is on top of that. So it's not a distinction between life and work. Maybe like work, leisure, sleep would be like differentiation or something. But yeah, I never like that term, but we'll use that anyway because people will understand it. But yeah, speak to yourself like someone you care about. Self-care, spend time caring for yourself. This world that we're in, you can really get caught up in it, like thinking you have to work all the time. But there's diminishing returns to working. It's better to use leverage as well. Build something, leverage. So working smarter, not working harder is a good thing. Working smarter and harder as well is also valid in my opinion. I like that rather than just working smart, not hard. Working smart and hard. I like it. I have got a good work ethic. So you probably find my perspective is kind of skewed in that way, that I do get a lot of joy out of work as well. So I don't believe in just working a few 2 hours a day and then rest of the time doing something, because I don't think I'd know what else to do really. So working is integrated with my life, and if I don't like it, I change it. I change the business. Yeah, talk to yourself like someone worth believing in as well. So giving yourself that that I status, that gravitas. Like, don't allow other people to speak down to you as well. Have self-awareness and self-respect as well. So don't be around people who are negative, and especially if it's towards you, because that can rub off on you as well, and it can start to affect your self-esteem. I don't know if you're, I mean, I don't know who's watching this, but let's say you are in an abusive relationship, that can really affect your self-esteem. And so things like that. Don't let people do that. Get away from that, because you're worth. You're unique. You're a unique person. So talk to yourself like someone worth believing in, because you are someone worth believing in, and you should believe in yourself, because you've got to. It says in the Bible about making sure that your cup overflows before you can help other people. You've got to do self-care and help yourself before you can help your family. You've got to be strong and resilient for yourself before you can help your family, because you are a unique person. So, and when you start speaking power into your life begins to change. So I hope this has been useful for somebody out there. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will see you next time.